Welcome to Talking Out Cloud, the podcast where we discuss the latest developments in IT and cloud. And on today's episode, automation. From the early days of batch scripting to deploying complex cloud environments. Let's talk. With me, I have Gert-Jan. Welcome.
Hey, welcome, Wesley.
Good morning. We're here again.
Again, yes.
Next episode.
Yes.
And today is automation.
Automation.
And we both have quite the background in IT.
I think so, yeah.
Would you say automation changed over the years?
It changed definitely. It helped a lot over the years, but it's rapidly evolving, I guess. Yeah.
I think my first things were like little batch scripts to create users in AD or fix things. I think we had a novel NetWare environment.
That's a long time ago.
Very old.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I did some scripting for that, but that was more like for convenience, right? Like it was just, I need to create 10 users and it's easier to do it by script than or to fix things.
It makes your life easier also back in the day. So when users want to log in, you have batch scripts to login scripts.
Login scripts.
Yeah, to give people shortcuts or get their home drive for people. And all those scripts helped you a lot. Also think about creating users. Multiple users at once with the same rights. That's a little example. But it makes life easier, a lot easier. Yeah.
Now that you mentioned this, login scripts and then registry files and pushing all kind of things upon login, or sometimes even log out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then use Task Manager to run recurring scripts.
Yeah, schedule task, license key when a user log in, that kind of stuff. I guess it was more to connect application for users and now it's a little bit different. Yeah. I guess you don't need that anymore. It's all a little bit smarter, but back in the days you need that stuff. Yeah,
I think what still remains. I mean, on Windows we don't do the batch scripting anymore. It's not to optimize user experience, but more to automate tasks. I think what we do still have is if you have Linux, you have the concept of cron jobs. I think we still use that a lot.
Yeah,
like a lot. In GitHub Actions, we use cron.
Definitely.
In containers, we use cron, so that still remains, but that's more the Linux side of things. That was different kind of automation, right?
It was a different kind of automation. I think the automation we used back in the days was more like you said, it was more for a user and end user experience. Yeah, and for a system engineer experience to get some information for some details, getting details mostly. But it was different. Yeah.
Would you say that PowerShell changed that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yes, PowerShell is a very, 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 very good tool for automation, and it's very powerful. So it changed a lot. Also with using the language for PowerShell, it makes it a lot easier. I guess it connects to every identity within the Microsoft landscape. So it helps a lot, definitely.
I think PowerShell brought us. So on Linux, we already had the mindset of scripting everything and automating everything. Like everything you configure, everything you install, you do that through scripting, like through Ansible or solutions like that, or even just Bash scripting. So install Apache, or whenever we deployed a new Linux machine, we had scripts to install everything. Yep. On Windows, we did not have that. Nope, we did batch scripting for some automation, but PowerShell would allow us to install features on Windows servers and pretty much like bootstrap the environment. Yeah, I think that was a very big change, and that brought the mindset we already had on Linux environments to the Windows world.
Exactly.
I think that changed a lot of sysadmins' jobs, where it was just troubleshooting user stuff. Yeah. To automating deployment stuff.
Definitely. It makes life easier for the server on managing servers as well. So definitely.
Oh yeah, I was skeptic though when it came out. I'm like, this is going to be a thing. I don't know.
It's always when things are new, you need to adapt with the language. You need to see how it falls, how the community also Microsoft supports the PowerShell landscape. But you have also cool people that create PowerShell modules as well. So you can, let's say there's no PowerShell command for let's say Intune or something like that. People in the community are creating stuff for it as well. So it's all really cool and very helpful. Yeah,
I think that's the extensibility of PowerShell, the gallery. You can even have your own gallery internally. We even have some colleagues who wrote like very complex scripts and scans to go through environments and save a lot of time.
Definitely.
So it's a very powerful language. Would you say that where normally the system administrator was, installing stuff and writing some scripts and managing environments, to someone whose main task becomes automation?
If I look at for myself, yes, because I was starting, like you said, as a system engineer. I'm still evolving to do more with code, to automate more and more and more. So when I now think about solutions, I think more not all in code, but more to, hey, how can I write it in code and how to make it reusable for the next time. Then when back in the days you click the solution together, or you did it like a system engineer, and there's nothing bad with it. But I think
I think the key here is what you said is reusable, because you will run across something like this again, so you need to do it again. So Definitely. You make it reusable. For me, so infrastructure as code is automation as well, right?
It's automation.
And then back in the day, I used to manage a VMware environment.
Yeah,
you could do infrastructure as code there as well with the VMware templates, and I never did that.
No,
because I was the only one doing it. I never needed to reuse it.
No.
And I think public clouds and the scalability and extensibility and the power it has, that is what brought me to the fact I need to start automating things.
Yes, definitely. There was also a light bulb for me as well.
Yeah, light bulb moment.
You want to make, exactly. You want to make your life easy, but also the life easier of your colleagues. They can use the same stuff.
Maybe that's DevOps.
I think it's DevOps. It evolves to a dev. Maybe I think a system engineer will evolve more like a developer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, in essence, you could say you are a developer, right? I mean, it's a script, but still development.
It is development, definitely. Especially if you integrate it in pipelines or something like that, you need to want to have that in automation in place. Yeah, I think that is the next step of the system engineer.
I think it people need to evolve that way, and I think most already have.
Yeah,
I think there's no real role for the traditional sysadmin that.
No.
I think that's
no, definitely not. It's sure there are people maintaining systems, but I think every system sysops or system engineer will use tools to automate. Make them lives. So maybe also the reason why you work in IT, to make things easier, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. So the role of sysadmins, it changed. We have the DevOps movement, and then we have public clouds, and it was no longer just scripting. It's way more.
Yeah,
you automate way more, and it's. I think that's so we had ClickOps back in the day. We would install a domain controller, we would click it, or we would type DC promo and then go through
go through all those
go through the steps. And then we started automating through scripting to recurring tasks to make it easier. Then we started automating processes, and now we have automation in public cloud. And then in Azure we have function apps, logic apps. We automate like our whole managed services offering.
Yes.
I think that's the next iteration.
That's the next iteration.
It's not just we wrote something that's recurring and we can click it and run it again.
No.
We actually build automation that runs automatically.
Yep.
And I mean, we only want to know about it when it breaks.
True. You can monitor it as well. But yeah, I think that's the main purpose. Build systems that are scalable, reusable for next time, but also that you have put your trust in your system that you've created, that's not running your business, because you always need to monitor it. But I think
That's an interesting one, right? When we look at automation now, So the other day I was configuring Logic apps to manage alerting. So an Azure alert came in, goes to a Logic app, and then needs to create a ticket in a system. And then it calls a function app somewhere.
Yeah.
Where back in the day when we did some automation, or maybe not even back in the day, a couple of years ago, we did we just wrote an imperative script. We go from top to bottom and perform these tasks, period. But now we have public cloud and alert comes in and we have multiple features or technologies connected to each other. So there's more chance of something breaking somewhere in the supply chain.
Definitely.
Somewhere in the chain. So now my automation skills and writing code also needs to include error handling. What if it goes wrong?
What are you going to do with an alert?
Yeah. And I think that is the point where we are now, where people that got into automation and automating more and are not developers, came from an ops background, need to evolve. Like build resilient code or write resilient code. So we can debug the automation. We can understand what's happening.
And also understand if you write it, then I also understand what you have written. That's mainly
something we can probably still learn from developers. Like
that's something I didn't learn in the beginning. So I definitely can learn from developers how they do that, how they write the error handling. How do you write your documentation and the comments and that sort of thing? Yeah, that's typically what I didn't learn in the beginning.
True, that's something I had to overcome as well. Also, standardization. Do you start a variable with a capital yes or no? And how all those things we never learned because we were never developers.
No, but you can get hard discussions with developers when you don't use capitals or you use capitals or you use spaces in your code and that's it's also good to think about.
It's a good discussion to have.
It's a good discussion to have
because we never learn about it. But now that we need to build resilient automation, essentially we're almost creating an application. We're using different technologies, we're writing scripts, they interact with each other. It's pretty close to actual software development.
It's software,
So we need to learn those standards and we need to adhere to those.
And if I look, for example, now for scripts that I created, let's say 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and I look at with my eye for the in the now, I always see also my own involvement because evolution. I need to say because then I see, why did I write this code like this? It's funny.
What does it do?
Yeah, what does it do?
What does it do?
What does it do? And now, it is every day you need to learn and you learn stuff to write it better, I guess.
Yeah. And then luckily we have Copilot and we can just ask it, tell me what this does. Because I have no idea.
Yeah. So now we need to learn how to good prompt then.
Yeah, but that's the danger, right? So let's say I do function apps and PowerShell because it allows for a whole lot of automation. And then I'm going to use Copilot.
Yeah.
But I don't have the correct background in the scripting and the good understanding of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I just run Copilot and then run the code and see what happens.
Is that balancing on a line you don't know if you fall left or right? I mean,
what if I just generate a script and run it in production and the customer something goes wrong?
Don't do that.
No, but that's the danger I see with automation.
Definitely a danger.
You could say that's some automation as well, right? We provide a Copilot, you just tell it, write me the code, and it automatically writes the code. But you still need to understand. You need to fact check it.
You need to fact check it. It has a positive and negative sin, I guess, because the positive thing using Copilot is that you also learn code. You prompt something. Copilot gives you an answer. You can learn from the code, and because you backtrack it. The negative thing is you don't know. If you don't have experience, you don't know the outcome. So you need to test it in a test environment. Be careful with security and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
But it's still, it's something we need to think about. I'm a fan of it, but I also seen it gone wrong.
It's the same thing when you pick a script from, let's say you Google for something, and you copy paste a script you don't know the implications of, and you run it in the environment of your production environment, and boom, you have no mailboxes anymore, something like that.
I think you make a very fair point there.
Yeah,
that maybe Copilot is safer. Maybe Copilot it's probably safer than copy pasting stuff from Stack Overflow.
I think yes, because he has, so it's a learning module. But yeah, it doesn't give you right or wrong answers. He just gives you the answers for the question you ask him, and that's mainly it. It doesn't have sense whatsoever.
No, whereas on Stack Overflow you probably have one where there's someone with an opinion on what's best. And
this is my best way to do it.
And then you even sometimes, I mean, I don't go to Stack Overflow that much anymore, but even sometimes you would just see someone posting production example code with customer names in it.
Yeah.
And then, well...
And always look at how many people endorsed the article.
Who upvoted it? Who approved the answer?
0 votes is not tested. Don't test it in the environment.
But I mean, in general, automation, what it brought me or us, and also us as a company, I think, embracing that mindset is, so for example, we have a customer, we have more customers. This is a good example where they want to deploy the solution on the Azure infrastructure.
Yeah.
They want to deploy new end customers.
Yeah.
They need an API for that.
Yeah.
We wrote an API in PowerShell, running an Azure function. On the back end, it calls Azure DevOps pipelines for each request. We have the error handling in there, like create, read, update, delete stuff. We had that in there as well. In PowerShell.
Yeah, that's the
in an
beauty.
Azure function.
Yeah, that's the beauty.
Yeah, I mean, we could never do it with batch scripting back in the day.
No, there are so more possibilities right now to use that code in your production environment or in your test environment. You can also say, hey, like you say, use the function app to deploy it first in your test environment, test the functionality, and then say, hey, yes, it is working. Go deploy it in your production environment.
And then that was automation in public cloud. Thinking, so what did we start doing? For me, the first example was Azure automation accounts, and then doing the stop-start with VMs. You had the whole gallery where you could, tag a VM with, with this time or with a number or with something. You would tag it, and then in the afternoon it would turn off, and then it would start up back in the morning.
That is the power of that was the power of automation accounts. That was also my first example. I think because that makes you flexible. It makes you it fix your consumption. What you don't want to have, what you lower down. So that's the beauty. But there are a lot more examples you can give. I guess for that one.
Yeah, I think for me that was like the first example. Like, automation accounts, amazing, and then Azure automation was more if you couldn't do it in function apps, then you could do it in Azure automation because essentially you can run stuff on a VM and you could install modules and all of that stuff. I don't do Azure automation, and I don't use automation accounts anymore that often, I have to say. I think we evolved to function apps, logic apps.
Yeah, logic app, function app. Like you said, if you use, for example, a logic app and you trigger an alert, you can do lots of stuff with that. With function apps, you can build your PowerShell. You can deploy your EAC. You can deploy. You think about it and you can deploy. You can make it, I guess. And the functionality is endless.
If you would say what the top languages are for automation on Azure.
Yeah, it's a good PowerShell, Azure CLI.
Oh yeah, Azure CLI.
Yeah, Bash.
Bash too. Yeah. What about Bicep? Do we count that?
Code? Bicep. Yeah, I totally forget it. Yeah, because that's a good point.
Well, that's different. That's different than scripting.
It's different. It's not scripting because you cannot. Yeah, it's scripting, but it's not scripting. It is basically your infrastructure as code. Hey, you have Bicep.
It's templating. Maybe.
It's templating. Yeah. It's based on it's ARM. It's ARM templates.
But it's also automation, right?
It's automation. Yeah. In combination with pipelines, you can build whole environments.
Yeah. I think I see a lot of successful combinations between Azure CLI, PowerShell, Bash, and Bicep.
Yeah, and use that all together. So use your PowerShell of your Azure CLI to build Bicep, to build infrastructure. You can use it in combination.
So when it comes to cloud management, what do you prefer, Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell?
That's a good question, actually. It's a hard question. It depends on which resource I will use, I guess. So some modules are not in Azure CLI. Some modules are in PowerShell.
Yeah. A lot of the Entra ID stuff is PowerShell, right?
Yeah. Identity is most of the time is PowerShell. So, but for the learning, I'm just starting with Azure CLI, I guess, a year ago, something like that. But it's adaptable. So it's like you said. I don't have a really good. PowerShell is the most powerful tool, I guess.
Yeah. I use a lot of Azure CLI and then wrap it, PowerShell around it as a wrapper. So instead of using the Azure PowerShell, like the PowerShell modules for Azure, I use them a lot, but then I started doing a lot of Azure Kubernetes Service. You needed Azure CLI for that.
Azure CLI.
Now you can use Azure PowerShell as well, but still the newest stuff is still in Azure CLI. But I also find the output of Azure CLI much more structured. I don't know. It just feels more cloud native to me.
I think so. Yeah.
And when I open WSL, it's easier to do Azure CLI and Linux as well. So.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's the format. Yeah, true.
But it's to each their own.
Yeah.
And then so we do automation and we do logic apps and function apps, and we're now just getting the hang of error handling and being able to debug our automation.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you debug it? We had to learn that. We had to write logging modules and write logging to table storage, for example. We started doing that so we could debug it. And then some bright minds came up with the concept of AI agents.
Yes.
Where we can automate things.
Yeah, what you going to do with agents? That's the question.
I think it's going to open up a whole new world of automation.
Definitely.
But I'm also a bit scared of it. Because
it's a gray area, right? Because you want to use all the cool stuff. It's so powerful, but you also don't know the implications, what it can do a negative way. So
exactly.
Yeah, you need to look at the security measurements and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think we need to implement things like guardrails because if you look at, so if you do automation, let's do the stop and start of a virtual machine. Like back in. If you automate that, it's a fact. It stops or it starts.
Yeah.
It needs to do that at a specific time that I tagged it with. And then I have an AI agent, which is powered by a model, which is by default, or that's how AI works, or generative AI, it's non-deterministic. So what if there's like what if the prompt is a mess and it decides, 7 could be 9, and let's stop it at 9. Yeah. I mean, I think it will be hard to automate like things that are very factual, like the stop-start example.
Yeah, that's 50%, like this on and off.
But it could help with what if I stop the VM and it throws an error? It could identify the error and come up with what's happening and give an explanation and do some root cause analysis. We could use agents for that though.
That is a really good example. I guess I think we had a discussion yesterday also back in the car, but it's the way who you train the module. So it's just an agent. If you install the agent on let's say a server and you don't train them, it does nothing. But if you train them wrong, it does wrong things. So you need to give it good directions then.
Yeah.
And make the possibilities for the agent as few as possible. Or
or at least make it. We need to be able to explain what's happening.
Exactly.
And I think that's what scares me a little bit. If I was at a keynote, I think about 6 months ago, and then someone from Microsoft said, "All right, so AI agents, it's evolving rapidly. Yeah. But if you look at where we are now with AI agents, have you ever had like the Nokia 3310 phone, like the very old Nokia, or even the flip phone? When we had that was like, and then we evolved in years to the iPhone, right?
Yeah.
If we look at AI agents, they are still at the level of the Nokia old flip phones and stuff. So there's a whole world that a lot needs to happen before it matures. But then again, that will go faster than we expect.
I think so.
So I think what we need is we need to be able to explain what's happening. So if it did something in automation, we need to be able to reason, we need to understand it. So maybe the future of automation is explainable automation. If we can't explain it, we don't run it.
That's a good conclusion, I guess. I like the term, by the way. But I think so. Yeah, but I see opportunities for AI. That's yes, like you said, you need to explain what, and also to make it work for you. That's important.
Yeah, and we're already discussing things internally, like what if we have an agent that connects to our CRM system, and I ask it a question about a customer, and it will come back with, hey, this is the latest report you sent to the customer, and this is what I can find about that customer. I mean, that's pretty cool automation. That's amazing. So instead of having to click through different systems. So I think there's a very big role for AI agents. But we also need to be careful, and we need to take it slow and test it very well, because
you need to
the
monitor
fact is we don't always know everything about how the models work, right? We still need to learn a lot about
you need the human factor as well in the beginning to control the outcome. So if you ask the question, like the example you give, you need to control, let the human control. Okay, what is he saying, and which report he's meaning, and that sort of stuff. So it doesn't really, be careful.
No. So in my final thoughts, I wrote, automation isn't eliminating sysadmins, it's evolving the role.
Definitely.
And the future of sysadmins is automation architects.
That is a really...
Maybe that's like a new job profile. Yeah, automation architect.
I think that's a cool job profile. Definitely. Yeah. But I see what you mean. Definitely. Yeah.
All right. I think there's a big future for automation.
I think so.
And,
definitely.
Everyone needs to embrace it.
Oh, definitely. I will do that.
Yeah. I think whenever I get a task, I'm thinking, do I need to do it again? How do I automate it? Do I script it?
Automate everything.
And say no to ClickOps.
Say no to ClickOps.
And with that, we're out. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Wesley.
Everyone, thank you for listening, and on to the next episode.